Kevin McCullough.
All right, it's a discouraging reality, but there are Christians and Alawites being slaughtered by the Syrian government that came in, dethroned the Assad puppet, as they called him, and said that they were going to bring a new sense of peace and calm to the area. I'm not sure what the rest of the world thought, but my guest, Dr. Joel Veldkamp, didn't believe them for a second and thought it was only a matter of time. And he said so on this show long before they revealed their true colors. Joel, over the weekend, there was a story that came up on Fox News that said that Christian groups are forming militias to try to defend the Alawites and the Christian populations. You have to have some level of support if a formal military is coming against you. What level of coordination, effort, money, resources do these groups have to defend themselves?
Honestly, I don't think very much, Kevin. I think, in CSI in our work, we've come across some of these groups, especially in the capital city of Damascus, who basically formed like neighborhood watch type associations to protect their neighborhoods from looting. And it's a very, it's a good thing for social cohesion, but they don't have serious weapons and they don't have the ability to stand up against an armed attack. And when you listen to the Christian leaders in Syria, they're very alarmed, but they're also trying really hard to show that they aren't against the government. They aren't against their own country, both because they love their country and they want what's best for Syria, but also because they know if they go up against the new government, they will not survive.
Does the sense of nationalism pervade across faith lines? It seems to me that in that region of the world, the doctrinal viewpoint is more important than the national origin. Am I reading that wrong?
No, I think you're right. But I think if you put yourself in the shoes of a religious minority and you look at the majority, the Muslims saying Islam will reign supreme, all Muslims in the world are together, we're brothers against the infidels, what you want to say is not, well, Christians are supreme because you're 10% of the country. That's not going to work. So what you say instead is, no, Syria should come first. We're all Syrians. Because Syria is an identity that will allow you to live maybe as an equal, but at least as a citizen of this country where you're in the minority. So you'll hear that kind of rhetoric, especially from Christians who really want, a secular country where they could belong. But the prospects for that are dimming by the day.
Syria has been a problematic place for a while. I mean, there's been a civil war of sorts that was going on long before this last change of hands. What does that mean to historic biblical sites in that area of the world?
Yeah, it's an extremely bad situation. There's been enormous damage to Syria's cultural heritage in the civil war. Many churches have been destroyed. Many ancient sites have been badly damaged. And these are some of the oldest churches in the world, not just the buildings, but the communities.
Right.
It was famously when St. Paul was converted on the road to Damascus, it was Christians in Damascus who welcomed him into their houses. And we're really looking at the very real possibility that there will be no more Christians in Syria in a very short amount of time.
What can Christians and Americans do to try to help?
It's really tough to know right now, and I hate to say that, but it's good to engage with organizations like CSI, other organizations that are working on the ground with Christians in Syria. It's very encouraging to Christians in Syria to know that they aren't forgotten, to feel this solidarity from Christians in the United States, Christians in other places in the West. And we should tell, our leaders. I know, Kevin, you are always telling your audience to contact your congressman. Mm-hmm. This is something that your congressman should probably hear about. Syria is in a pre-genocidal state. We should expect huge massacres in the coming months, in the coming years. And Secretary Rubio has had, I would say, the right things to say about this so far. But we need to be encouraging that attitude. We need to be encouraging.
Well, as a committed Christian himself, I don't think that he sloughs this off. I think he senses that the threat is real. And I am curious as to how the Islamic groups that have control of Syria view the Trump administration, who is a very different animal then the Biden team, things could run all over the world and he would never raise a finger to do anything about it. But in his first go, Trump formulated very strong positions on persecution of people on a religious basis. All right, Joel Veldkamp, thank you for keeping us up to date. We're going to be praying. We're going to ask our pastors to pray, ask our churches to pray. And friends, I want you to pray. And then if you would like more info, go to csi-usa.org and look up Syria. That's where they have all of their current information. Joel, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin McCullough coming back from New York. Don't go away.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.